And I'm Princess Carly Jo Jensen. This summer, one of my favorite events that we did was the OMAC Stampede. My favorite part about OMAC was, well, I actually had two favorites. The suicide race, which was absolutely incredible. And that was our very first rodeo, so it was our first time getting the arena and do a wall run, and we did it with all the row carts from all over the United States, so it was very exciting. And for our Ellensburg Rodeo coming up, or this weekend actually, I am most excited for our Monday rodeo and being able to lead the champions around the arena.
My favorite event this year has been the Ellensburg Rodeo Kickoff Breakfast, just because it's the start of our Ellensburg Rodeo, and we are just so excited to be here. And we've been going to all these other rodeos and all these other events throughout all of Washington and over the Northwest, and we are just so excited to be here in our town, and this is our rodeo. And I don't really have a favorite part about what we're going to be doing this weekend. I'm just so excited for all of it. I just can't wait.
This year, my favorite event would probably have to be the Moses Lake Rodeo that we went to a couple weeks ago. It was high energy, really well put together, and I had a blast there. The thing I'm looking forward to for our rodeo is tomorrow, Friday, our first wall run grand entry of our rodeo. So I'm really excited about it.
I'm truly excited to be here at our Hall of Fame Banquet tonight, and I'm extremely excited to begin our Ellensburg Rodeo tomorrow night and to get in our home arena, and it's a true honor for me to represent my hometown of Ellensburg.
I'm so excited to be able to start the Ellensburg Rodeo off with a bang. I'm ecstatic about being able to represent my hometown, and it's an honor.
I was truly honored to be chosen as your queen this year. I am so thankful and so lucky to be living in such a supportive community, and the amount of support that Royal Court gets is just amazing, and we appreciate all of our volunteers and all of our sponsors, and we appreciate everyone who's helped us out, and we want to say thank you. We appreciate everything that you do. So our Ellensburg Rodeo is just something else to say thank you and give back to the community, and we're so excited to do this. I'm so happy that we were chosen, and I know that my other two girls are too. Going into the arena for me is a complete adrenaline rush. My horse knows exactly what he's supposed to be doing, so he's getting all excited, he's popping up, and he's just really, really excited to run because he knows what he's supposed to be doing. So I'm getting all nervous, and I'm having just a blast. There's a smile on my face, and once I hit that arena dirt and all the fans are just looking at you and you're waving and smiling, that's why I do this, because it's so much fun. Even walking around, all the little kids and all of our sponsors and everyone, it's a wonderful experience.
It's a true honor to be able to represent the Ellensburg community and the Ellensburg Rodeo. Not only as the princess, but I've grown up here my whole entire life, and I'm truly ecstatic about this. This morning I was up on Craig's Hill overlooking our rodeo grounds, our Kittitas Valley, and it brought tears to my eyes because of what I represent and what this community means to me.
Well, we're going to have to get on with the program, and we're excited to do that. If you didn't hear me, I mentioned that we do need to get the buyer numbers. If you haven't picked one out, just slip out the door real quick, real quietly, and get that bid number if you would. Also, on the outside, there's a silent auction going on. There have been some kids in the area who have colored their own boots. And anyway, they've got some winners out there. We're going to auction those off in a silent auction. The kids have done a great job. We've got some young artists in the area that's done some really impressive works of art out there. So we encourage you to do that. All right. Hey, before we get started here tonight and we bring up our introducers to the inductees, I've got a quick story to tell you. As we pull these guys together, our two honorees here tonight. A lot of you know the talents of Trevor Brazil, and a lot of you know, if you know Kim McRae, that he is awesome at everything he does. I mean, from riding bulls in college to being the arena director to being a very proficient steer roper, but he's also got in my opinion, a God-given gift at working and training roping horses. So much, in fact, that when I would fly up here, I would borrow his horses from the first year I came up here. He let me ride his brown horse, and then in about 2005, he had a superstar horse, and I went out to his place and I rode this horse, and I said, hey, I'd like to ride him at Pendleton. If I could ride him in the steer opening at Pendleton. He said, well, that's fine. He said, but after Ellensburg, Trevor Brazil's looking at him, and he may buy him. Well, as a lot of you know, Trevor bought the horse and went on to win the world championship on Ken McRae's horse. Right. So what brings it together. But as Paul Harvey would say, here's the rest of the story. So that'll bring me into this circle. So I'm riding the horse in Pendleton, and on my first steer, the horse, who was fairly seasoned, but at Pendleton you take a big old long roll with that barrier, and it's way down there, and it's just something that they're not all used to. He jumps the barrier with me on it. And so I go to hand the reins to Trevor, and he said, I think I'm going to use my old horse here this year. I'll take him later. But, and anyway, not to pat myself on the back too hard, I won fourth that year, and what happened was Trevor decided that if the rodeo announcer could win fourth at Pendleton, I'm going to buy the horse, and I still haven't got the commission from Ken yet. But anyway, so that's how kind of we're all tied together, and just one of the ways that we're tied together. One of the ways we're not tied together is I'm not great at everything like these guys are. I mean, everything they've done, they've excelled at the absolute top level. And it's awesome I feed off of people like that. I love being around people like Ken and Trevor because I want to be like that. May never get there, but at least it gives you something to shoot for. And I know a lot of you can appreciate that, and you've been around these guys, and if you haven't, you've read about them, you know about them. These are men of excellence. These are men of excellence in everything they do. Earlier I mentioned that these are men of also great character. These are people that will absolutely, they don't have a selfish bone in their body. And they are going to give and give and give and give back and give back and give back. And those again, are the people I like being around because we're all selfish by nature. And it's always been about me until you see an example like this, and it's great. So, with that said, I'd like to introduce you to another guy that you know well. And he has introduced and inducted a lot of people into the Hall of Fame. And he's a great cowboy himself, and he's pretty handy behind the microphone as well. So Jack Wallace, would you come up here? If you'd make your way up here. And we are certainly looking forward to your words as you bring up and induct Ken McRae here tonight. Jack?
Thanks, Justin. You already took some of my thunder on that horse, but that's okay. There we go. I thought that I might not have to do this year. Like Justin said, I've helped induct a number of people into the Hall of Fame. I thought I'd get out there and sit and enjoy it with you folks. But Ken asked me if I would induct him tonight, and I'll say that it is truly one of the privileges of my life being able to do this for Ken. Ken was born May 11th, 1934 in Paul, Idaho, which is a little town in southern Idaho. His folks had a big, they had a cattle ranch, raised sheep and some hay. And when Ken was 10 years old, his father passed away. His name was Bill McRae. Later, his mother, May, remarried, and they moved to Salmon, Idaho, where they had a cattle ranch and raised hay there also. Later on, they moved up to northeastern Washington in Cusick. And I think that's one of the places Ken kind of learned to cowboy on his own. If you've ever been to Cusick, there's not much up there. There's a lot of country. Had his own horse when he was 4 years old. He started competing at amateur rodeos when he was in high school. He retired from steer roping in 2011, so he had quite a career in rodeoing. The rodeo career basically started at Pullman over at Washington State College, which is now Washington State University, in 1953. And in 1956, he was the Pacific Coast Region bull riding champion. And he went on to finish third in the National Intercollegiate Bull Riding for the year. So most of us all know Ken as a tiny vet man, but he could ride a pretty good bull too. Speaking of rodeo, one time him and I went to a little rodeo up here in north central Washington at Waterville. And I was 17 at the time, and he was a pretty young family man himself at 29. We had my rig, and I was so proud of this rig. Had a little low camper on it, and it was real cloudy, it had been raining, and he got up before me, and here he is, he's trying to get his pants on. And he could just barely almost touch the roof with his head when he was on his knees. And here he is, trying to get his Wranglers on. And pretty quick, it's getting kind of daylight, and look down and says, "Oh hell, these are your pants I'm trying to get on." But Ken worked all the time events at one time or another. He bulldogged and team roped. Over 4 decades he did this. He had numerous wins and placings throughout the Northwest, steer roping place in Eaton, Colorado. And he just loved to see the steer roping season come, and his 2 favorites are, 3, Ellensburg, Cheyenne, and Pendleton. Steer roping was his love in rodeo, and he was very instrumental in getting steer roping involved in the many locations in the Northwest, including Ellensburg. He got started practicing steer roping, and that's a pretty good event to have at least 2 people out there. Well, he got Sandra to come out, and she was out there a couple times. She just shook her head and she went back to the house, so he was on his own. And he trained a dog to sit out there on a barrel, and if those steers came to the left, that dog would jump off that barrel, and he'd straighten them out right quick. Then he'd hop back in the barrel. So Ken could do some training too. He was instrumental in getting the Northwest Steer Roping Association started, of which he was a champion in 1978 and 1989. He went to the Columbia River Circuit Finals several times, including 2006 at the age of 72 years. Some of those old steers he had, actually 2 of them, he took 2 of them and trained them to drive. He did all his feeding with them in the winter time, and he still got 2 of them, or the 2, they're like 21 years old now. They're big old horns and great animals. Ken also trained some driving horses. He had his steer roping horse he hooked up to a buggy and drive him up and down the road, and I think he hauled his grandkids in the parade a few times. One of the quotes from Ken was, "Some of my best memories are friendship with many of the people that have made up the rodeo world over 5 generations." Ken earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Animal Science at Washington State College in 1957. He married Sandra Sheldon in 1957. He earned his Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree in 1961. He started a family in college, him and Sandra. They had 3 children, John, Mary, and Alan. And Alan's still involved in rodeo. The fact is, he's the calf rope and chute boss here at Ellensburg. Another thing, Sandra and Ken did something right. Those are 3 couples, and they're all still together, no divorces. So, pretty cool. When Ken came to Ellensburg, he had a chance to interview with Dr. Leonard Newman, who had a veterinary clinic down at what is now the Flying J truck stop here in Ellensburg. And he said that he had a chance to go to Cal State Davis, the big veterinary clinic in Davis, California, to do some stuff for them. He came to Ellensburg, and he said it was he and Sandra came to Ellensburg, and it was a beautiful day, no wind, and all those little baby calves laying around in the pasture. He says, always wondered what it'd been like if it had been blowing like it can here, if I had come. But he did come, and he worked with Dr. Newman, and he later ended up buying the business from Dr. Newman. And later that business moved out to the Vantage Highway where it is now. Ken retired from veterinary practice in 1997. I'll tell another little story. While they were down there at the old clinic where Flying J is now, he had a colt that was pretty goosey. Fact is, he was real goosey, but Ken, he liked challenges. That was not a big deal for him. And he had this colt hooked up to a pasture, spike tooth harrow, them little, kind of like 4-foot joints. And he had to go through a gate. So while he was opening the gate, this colt spooked, and he decided not to use the gate. He just jumped the fence. He's on one side of the fence, and the harrow's on the other. And Ken had to use some of his veterinary practice to get that horse taken care of. He was pretty well skinned up, but survived, and he went on, and he ended up roping on him. One time he was up in Cleveland on a call, and it was at night, and he had a little trouble finding the place. No cell phones, of course. And he had shined some lights on this place, and he had an iron gate there. Thought, well, maybe they might know something. But he shined the lights on it, and on the sign it said, "Is there life after death? Come on through this gate and you'll find out." So he decided not to ask them. Another time, he was out here, had a call up in the Young Cannon, and it was in the dead of winter and cold, and I'm going to tell you how the toughness of Ken McCrae. He had a little Volkswagen bus, it's what they used to practice in those days, and drove off he slid off in the ditch. And there again, we don't have any cell phones or anything, and this road, not one single car came by. So here he is underneath the little bus. He jacks it up, he gets his calf pullers out and hooks to a post and his lariat rope, jacked it up and pull it back. He could make 2 feet at a time. He said he started out about 5 o'clock and he made it home at 11. He said the only reason why he kept going because it was so damn cold. He said, I froze to death if I had tried walking home. The real reason why we're here tonight is because Ken is one of the great volunteers, which there's been many, for the Ellensburg Rodeo. He was on the Ellensburg Rodeo board. And in an interview, Ken reflected that the rodeo was, after my family and veterinary practice, the most important thing in my life. We directors all took our responsibility very seriously. The all-important goal was to present the very best rodeo that we could. Ken McCrae came on board and he cared about the cowboy side and sort of educated us about the cowboys' needs. That was a quote from Alan Faltis, who got voted into the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame last year. At its inception, the Ellensburg Rodeo Board of Directors was a diverse group. with ranchers and farmers, serving alongside businessmen and other town-dwelling professionals. As a ranch-raised Idahoan, college bull riding champion and roper, and doctor of veterinary medicine, Ken brought a varied and unique perspective to long and distinguished service as arena director of the Ellensburg Rodeo. Ken served as arena director for 29 years, which is the longest tenure of anybody. Ken pursued the cowboy side and the cowboy needs of the rodeo, alongside saddle bronc riding. Rodeo experts called roping events ranch-related because they utilize historic skills that were and still are necessary for working ranch cowboys. Ken aimed to increase the rodeo boards, or the Ellensburg Rodeo's connection to these ranch-related events. He led the 1978 volunteer effort to upgrade and relocate the roping chutes to the center of the West Grandstand, which is where they're at now. Soon thereafter, in 1981, he advocated and won inclusion of the team roping at the Ellensburg Rodeo. Like team roping, steer roping is a skill built on range, cattle, droving techniques. In 1988, steer roping became a moneyed event at the Ellensburg Rodeo, scheduled annually during the morning slack roping, and attracted steer roping superstars like Guy Allen and the arena record holder Trevor Brazil. On the rough stock side of the arena, Ken recalls an important breakthrough came when we could afford to hire multiple stock contractors to have them each bring smaller numbers, but bring their best livestock. And to the rodeo, these animals would make the cowboys come. They'd like to get on that better stock, of course. And they were able to hire the best bullfighters. Throughout time, Ken trained his own roping horses. And one of them comes to mind is the one that Justin was just talking about. That horse was actually raised just down the road from me. It was a family that wanted some animals, and they had a fella in their church group say, "Well, I've got a stallion. You buy a couple mares, and we'll breed them. Then you'll have some animals to take care of." Well, that happened. They had these two mares, and they bred them. They both settled, and one of them was the roan horse, Roan Ranger. And all those people did was pet them across the fence and give them treats. And finally they could figure out that this wasn't going to be a good deal, a money-losing proposition. So another old cowboy here in the valley, Jerry Hadley, bought the pair of them. I think he probably gave about $600 for the pair. And he brokered the ride, and he sold one to a fellow named Jason Fisher. Well, the one that Ken ended up with started bucking him off. And Jerry was up there in age, and he wasn't liking that so good, so he sold him to Ken. And Ken proceeded on to make him what he ended up. But there's a story about that horse at Cheyenne one year. He could have, he was still being seasoned, and Ken had a little accident. I can't remember the full story, but Ken ended up off, and his horse ended up on the stage where the musicians perform at the night show. And he got him under control, and the next day, Flint Rasmussen, he's up on that stage, and he says up to Justin McKee, was the announcer, "Hey Justin, there's been somebody up here with a horse." Justin says out to 15,000 people, "Yeah, that would be Ken McRae." A few weeks later at Dodge City, or one of those rodeos that had steer roping, Sandra was sitting in the grandstand, and the announcer announced that Ken was up. And this guy says, "Hey boy, you really want to watch this? Because you should have seen what happened with him at Cheyenne last week, or a few weeks earlier." But anyway, that's a horse that Trevor ended up with, and he turned out to be a good horse. Ken and Sandra raised their family, and Sandra passed away in 2006. and later Ken remarried Ruby Morton. And one of the favorite things with Ken and Sandra was at a dance, they'd be the first ones out there and be the last ones to go. They just really enjoyed dancing. And Ken and Ruby still go dancing, they play some golf, and they do some traveling. Some other accomplishments of Ken: he used to write a small article on horsemanship and horses for the Daily Record. He wrote his own book, a nice little book that I haven't seen yet, but I'm looking forward to it. He is on the Yakima Federal Board of Directors, Yakima Federal Bank, that is. He was the Ellensburg Rodeo president from 1982 to 1983. I think one of his biggest honors, he would probably tell you, is that he was the PRCA Committee Man of the Year, which means over all the rodeos and all the hundreds and hundreds of committee men throughout rodeo, he was honored with that, he was honored with that honor. So anyway, that's about all I can tell on Ken. If you would come up here and get your plaque, Ken McRae.
Those of you that have been to this banquet over the years have seen me up here a few times before, because I've had the honor to introduce quite a few of the other inductees over the years, which are the people that I got to work with as my arena director job and so on, and got to know in the rodeo business. Even though that was all pretty good, this is better. I didn't really prepare any remarks tonight, but it shouldn't be any problem, because most of the people that know me well think that I'm a little mouthy, so I'll be all right. One of the stories that Jack didn't tell, and he told almost all of them, but when I was in college and Sandra was heavily pregnant with Alan, why we just returned from one of the vet school dances, and we did dance a lot. She was probably 7 months along pregnant, and our next door neighbors were also vet students, but they were holding a little post-function party, so I went in there, and Sandra went next door to check on the babysitter, and John was the only one we had at that point. Alan was still in utero, but Charlie introduced me. That's a medical term. Charlie introduced me to one of his friends that was not a vet student and didn't know any of us, but we were just right after he introduced us, we were chatting about the just attended party that we just attended, and the friend, Charlie, said, "Did you guys see that little short pregnant gal dancing around up there? She was jumping around so damn much I thought she was going to drop that kid right on the floor." And Charlie, my neighbor, said, "Oh yes, that was Ken's wife." And the guy said, "Oh, pass the revolver." Anyway, this is a great honor. It's certainly, I share with all my directors that I've worked with over the years, and there have been many of them in those 30-some years that I was on the board. And they're all great guys, and they all work just as hard as I did, and some of them a lot harder. And a lot of them won't get this honor because I had the front end, the best job of all. But anyway, I really appreciate having the honor to be with those people all those years and do what we were able to do with the Ellensburg Rodeo. and have it turn out to be what it is today, and I'm sure it's going to keep going right on. And you never do any of these things alone. When I was arena director, I had a list of about 80 people that I had to personally contact every summer and make sure they were going to be there to do their jobs, and it was pretty hard to fire any of them. I never did fire any of them, but almost all of them really wanted to work and help the Ellensburg Rodeo. And these were the guys that put the calves in and opened the gate at the back end and unsaddled the bucket horses and all those things that it takes to make a rodeo. I'd like to, I've got some special guests here tonight. I'm not going to be long about this, but I want to introduce some of them. First of all, my family, John McRae and his family, if you'll please stand. And then my son Alan, who more of you know because he's been in a rodeo deal a little bit, but he and his family, please stand. And then there's Mary Garden, our little girl, and she's got a nice family too, so will they please stand, Steve and Mary and their family. I've got some special friends here I invited that have been friends ever since I've been in the valley, and that was 1961. Roy and Norma Doak are with us tonight. Will they please stand? And the other people that I've been associated with an awful lot over the years is Sam and Clem Kaiser. And they're here tonight for us. So please stand. And then I also have some friends that, well, I went to college with this one lady. She was in my speech class. And if I'd had to do this back before I had that speech class, I wouldn't have been able to do it in there as well. But anyway, Jan Smith and Nell Henderson, the timers, they've been timing here for so many years. Jan's husband Dave was one of my best friends before he so tragically was killed a few years ago. And then, last but not least, Dan Linda Hubble was a rodeo photographer that's taken more pictures of me than anybody else in the whole world. About all I have to say. It certainly is a great honor, and it's certainly a great honor to share this evening with one of the greatest cowboys of all time, Trevor Brazil.
Thank you, Ken. That was awesome. You know, I love history, especially love cowboy history and rodeo history, and I think our country needs to know a little bit more about where we come from to know where we need to go. Don't you agree? And I love hearing those old stories and seeing those old black and white pictures. I tell you what, don't get any better than that. Don't get any better than that. That's good stuff. Most of you know what Trevor Brazil's done in the arena. He's won 16 world championships. He has been arguably the greatest rodeo cowboy ever. And what I want to share with you real quick before Patrick comes up, something I'm constantly amazed at, is his intelligence. It's unbelievable how smart this guy is. I don't have a joke. There's no punchline coming here. I don't know why some of you start laughing way too early. Yeah, No, seriously, I was at the team roping yesterday at Scott and Joe Reps out of Westar, and I'm sitting on a horse that was from a healer in Oklahoma that Trevor had seen maybe one time. It's a brand new horse, and I'm just sitting on this horse, and he walks up and he said, "Jay Scrabb's horse, right?" Yeah. I mean, just stuff like he knows every heeling horse, every heading horse, every calf roping horse, every steer roping horse, and the history, probably their pedigree, where they come from, who owned them, and how good they're going to be in the future. It's unreal. Not to mention that he's got 3 rigs out on the road, and he's got airplane tickets to buy, and schedules to meet, and trades to make, and rodeos to enter. And I'm watching him with his calendar this morning and his cell phone, and every now and then eavesdrop on a conversation. I'm going, this is the busiest guy in the world. Not to mention that I'll tell you something about him. He's gifted, he's got a God-given ability, and he's got a work ethic that's unbelievable. And that is an awesome combination. Anyway, I'm going to quit on that. I'm going to let Patrick tell the rest of the story. I will tell you about these two. Patrick Smith is his team roping partner. They won the world championship together last year. They are #1 in the world again this year. They won Salinas, they won Cheyenne. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. I don't know how long they're going to rope together, how many world titles they're going to win, but I think it's going to be several. And it's going to be fun to watch it unfold here in the next few years. So Patrick, why don't you come on up here and make it.
I'll do my best. I was informed last night by my wife that I didn't have much of an announcer's voice, so I got to announce the calf roping. And also, thanks for that intelligent part on Trevor. I thought you were going to say because he's had me healing for him for the last few years. I really didn't know what to expect here tonight or how to really approach this, but to introduce a good friend of mine, Trevor, and partner for a long time now. 16 world titles says a lot of its own. And I'm only going to take credit for about 12 of them. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the way I rope. It just has to do with the fact that I point him in the right direction so he doesn't drive the wrong way, and also make sure that he's up in time for slack. So he's pretty much done the rest. But we've been roping together now for, I don't know, how long has it been? Almost 7 years. I don't want to hurt his feelings that I don't know our anniversary, but it's been a long time now. As a matter of fact, we always joke that when we started, it was me and my beautiful wife, Christy, who actually has a baby that's in utero right now. Mr. Ken, thanks for that. I didn't know that until tonight. We used to joke that when we started out, we would go to a restaurant and ask for a table for 4. And now, this time next year, it'll be a table for 9. So, obviously, we've been busy. So, when I first started with Trevor, I really didn't know what to think about it. I mean, we talked about roping, I think it was in 2006. At Tucson, maybe 2007, and he came up and we talked about roping and decided to do it. And the thing that I'm going to just focus on about him tonight is his attitude. The one thing that he does is, man, he keeps such a good attitude everywhere we go. It's something that I'm still really not used to. The guys that I roped with starting out, I mean, I learned that when you don't do good, you're supposed to act like you didn't do good. I mean, we pout and we get mad and we go to the truck and don't say anything for a while. And one of the first places we rope, we'd go rope and one of us would mess up, probably him, but we wouldn't do any good. And we'd get in the truck and, you know, I'd get in, shut the door, and he'd be over there and somebody'd call and he'd answer the phone and laugh, hey, what's going on, man? And I'm like, don't we need to be mad here for a minute? I mean, you're not acting near as upset as I am over this, but the one thing that he taught me is that in order to be good at this game, you got to have a short memory. And I'll never forget him telling me that. And he's one of the world's best at a short memory, I can tell you that right now. So I wrote some notes down, or somebody wrote them down. Doesn't write very good, so I'm going to try to do the best I can do. I sure don't have the history. And he wouldn't want me to bring any of the pictures that I have to put up here. So Trevor loves what he does. He's always had a good attitude. He's always the best at looking at the good of every situation and not the bad. And that's something that when you rope together, as long as we joke that we're like an old married couple. We kind of know what each other's thinking. And it just sure makes it easy to go with somebody that when I mess up, I know that he's got as much confidence in me as anybody does. And he's, as a matter of fact, one time I wasn't roping very good. And he told me, so I believe in you more than anybody else out here, so just keep doing what you do. And I can't tell you how much that means to a partner And I can't tell you that I've been quite as good to him in that area as he has been to me, but I'm working on it. A lot of people get hard to approach when they've had the kind of accomplishments that he's had, hard to talk to, and he's definitely not that way. It doesn't matter who you are, if you've ever met him, whether he caught or whether he missed at the rodeo, if you approach him, he's going to talk to you. We'll be needing to get somewhere to the next rodeo, driving all night long, and we can't find him, and he'll be outside talking to a kid, signing autographs, and you know, I mean, I love doing it too, but I'm always in a hurry. I'll be the guy honking the horn and telling him, let's go. I would prefer, I didn't plan on telling any stories up here tonight, but I kind of got matched on that other, on Jack. He did a good job telling stories, so I might as well tell one quick story on a plane ticket, if you don't mind. This is a story that's really between me and him. Nobody else, I've told it, but we were the only two that knew it, so it's his word against mine, so I'm going to tell you before he gets up here, this did happen. We were at Greeley, Colorado, trying to make it to Denver Airport. We were up in the short round of Greeley. We were up at Livingston, Montana that night, and everybody told us there was no way we were going to make that flight. So I had a friend bring a truck, and we literally drove 100 miles an hour for however far it is from Greeley to there. And we get there and run to the entire airport, and I'm the whole time I'm telling you, I'm about to wet my pants. I gotta go to the bathroom. So they're telling us we're not gonna make it. And I run down, we're running, it's all the way at the very last gate, and I run all the way to the last gate, and the lady says, you're good. It was delayed by 5 minutes, or we wouldn't have made it. So there's a bathroom right there, and I see it. And Trevor's kind of walking over there, so I would run to the bathroom. Now, we have the same flight agent who books all of our flights, and she always books us side by side, and it's kind of like drawing at the rodeo. I've been drawing the middle seat every time. And I had the window seat this time. Or I'm sorry, I had the aisle seat. But I had to go to the bathroom, so I go in there, and I've got this jacket on, got my plane ticket right here. And they've got these little, the wall toilets there. So I go to the bathroom and I have my jacket and I spin around and my plane ticket flies right in the toilet. I'm not gonna miss the rodeo, I'm panicked, so I just grab it like this real fast. And I got it on my fingertips and I run to this lady and I'm the last one. And I run and I hand her the deal. She tears the stuff off and hands it to me. I swear this is true. Trevor, I promise this really happened. So I've got this ticket, and I go in there, in the plane, and he's sitting in my aisle seat. I say, that's my seat. He goes, you snooze, you lose. Give the middle. I said, I'm not giving the middle. I've had the middle every flight. He goes, I'm already buckled in. I said, I'm getting that seat. He goes, what are you going to do? You going to tell on me? I said, I think I will. So I've got this ticket in my hand. I push the stewardess button. As soon as I push it, he grabs the ticket, shoves it in his mouth, and he keeps asking me, what are you laughing at? And I can't quit laughing. And I finally get done laughing, and I said, you're never going to believe this. I don't know how many plane tickets you've eaten in your life, but that was the worst one you've ever taken. Anyway, so I couldn't let him go without hearing that. So when I was asked to introduce him, I obviously accepted. I was excited to do it and honored to do it. Then I started to think about all the things that I needed to say and thinking about all the accomplishments that he's made. And it kind of hit me. I realized how many world championships. It's kind of like when you're around a little baby all the time, you don't realize how much it's growing, and everybody else says how big they're getting. It's kind of that way with us and his world titles. I'm right there in the middle of all of them, and really don't realize what all he's accomplished. But it's funny how when you're around something all the time that you get used to what's going on. But to be part of the winningest cowboy of all time, that's a big statement to be able to say that, to be the winningest cowboy of all time. So I could take the next 2 hours and tell you everything he's won, and probably couldn't even get close to telling you that much. But I definitely don't know how to. I guess the best way I decided I didn't know how to introduce a 16-time world champion, Triple Crown winner, calf roping champion, team roping champion, steer roping champion. If it has to do with rodeo, he's won it. All-around champ. All of that's really impressive to me. And I decided I didn't know how to introduce that, but I do know how to introduce a good friend. He's been one of the best friends of my life. He's a great father to Tristan and Style, and a great husband to Shannon, a great friend and example for me. He loves the Lord, and I can't think of anybody better to represent rodeo. Trevor Brazil.
Ellensburg committee and everybody involved in selecting this. If y'all are on the booze or not, I still appreciate it. Whether I deserve it or not, it's a great honor. I was looking through the list of the past inductees, and those are my heroes. Those are the guys that grew up immortal to me. And so it really doesn't feel right me standing up here, because I've been a student of the game and just a fan of everybody that's been inducted, and stood where I've stood. So you have to forgive me for feeling a little uncomfortable, because I consider myself a fan more than a player. But it's again such a great honor. Jack and Ken, you guys are a hard act to follow for sure. Jack actually shot one of my horses this week. I hope he holds together and doesn't pull a shoe, because it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting any warranty work anytime soon. And I wasn't around when Justin was to see Ken ride the bulls, but I can attest that he can train a steer horse, because every town I go to, it seems like I've bought a horse from somebody. But this was definitely one of the ones that were instrumental into at least one, if not two, of my world championships, and he did a great job. He had me so flustered with using words such as Euro and other medical terms that it kind of just blew my mind, so I didn't even ask for a vet check or anything. The whole day was kind of a blur, but I don't remember ever. I shouldn't talk. I guess it's good that I didn't talk to Jack, or I probably never bought him if he had told me about all the bucking and whatnot. No, but Ken and all the great cowboys that I looked at before, they were so courteous and helping, and it just the cowboy way. And Ken is just a perfect example of a gentleman and a cowboy, and I'm glad to know him, and I'm glad he took the time to sell a young guy a horse when he needed one. Thank you, Ken. Since everybody's been taking stabs at me, and I'm the last one on the mind, me and Justin have quite a history too. Rookie of the Year, 1996. Most of you probably weren't as involved in it as me and Justin were, but it was Steer Open Rookie of the Year. We were both rookies that year. And I kid my wife, it was neck and neck till the very end. And I look back and I tell my wife, I said, you have no idea how close I was to becoming a rodeo announcer. True story. He is a great steerer, and I'd probably be making more money if he would have beat me. We come here. I was just flipping through the program, and right here it has it's not necessarily a quote by Red Steagall, but it's a line of one of his songs. I'm a big Red Steagall fan, but it says, "Rodeo, you're a part of America, the outdoor dream that every youngster needs. If I could have one wish, my only prayer would be, don't let the cowboy be a dying breed." And Ellensburg exuberates that whole poem there, or chorus, whatever it is in his song. You guys, it's one of those things like Patrick said, you guys are so involved in the community. We travel all over the world, and for a young Texan, which I've got a lot of young Texans at my table, but coming to the Northwest, especially to this rodeo, is a huge deal. I mean, it's one of the best rodeos in the country, especially in the Northwest. So many guys look forward to coming up here, and I just want y'all to know what a great job you do. Not just the community, which I love every part of it. I mean, Scott and Joe Rep, they treat everybody that comes to their house like family, and it just, the whole community. We stay out there. They wait on us hand and foot, like, well, better than family to wait on us hand and foot, but Anderson Hayne Grain, I can't even tell you all the people that pull together in the community that support this deal, that just make the being a cowboy here in Ellensburg special. And I just don't want you to overlook that, and because I travel everywhere. It's a great place to rodeo. Obviously, I couldn't do anything that I've done in the arena without my beautiful wife, Shada. Before there was any, there was she deserves it. Before there was 3 rigs on the road, it was me and her and bologna sandwiches. I joke because she's Roy Cooper's stepdaughter. She knew more about rodeo than I did. And there was kind of a standing bet I had with T Woman. She had helped me tie cats. I mean, when I tell you it was me and her, it was me and her when we were in college. She would stand and help me tie cats, stand and help me tie steers. And in that process, she would be telling me what I was doing wrong, and so I would make her go tie some. And so through the years, she got pretty good practice. And T Woman had popped off over the years, and I said, I will bet you that I've got a girl that can beat you tying steers. He never took it because he had a suspicion who I might run at him. But she's raised me 2 beautiful children, and been by my side the whole time, and is back running girls this year, and it's been fun for all of us. So it's kind of coming full circle, and we've, like Patrick said earlier, we went from 4 when we started to 9 now, and of course 1 in utero. And so it'll be a lot before you know it. And some guests I have with me, my brothers, Shada's brothers, which I claim is mine, Tuff and Cliff Cooper. and their significant others, Tiffany with Tough, and Cliff's wife, Taryn, and his new little baby, Seattle Rose. You guys see them as the new generation of rodeo cowboys. I still see them as 6 and 8 shooting arrows at me when I'm coming over to date their daughter. I want to get them by the ear. And cousins Sawyer and Stetson Vest, and their mom Celie, which is my aunt, and really important to our family. And like I said earlier, I'm amazed where I've come, because I like to sit here and say I saw this. I sit here and saw that if I worked hard, I could see myself standing here. But it's not one of those things. When in the events that I do, you know, you've got guys, Dean Oliver, Fred Whitfield, Cody Old, you know, in some of those events that are, you know, just bigger, stouter, you know, stronger, more. I was not your stereotypical tie-in roper coming up, and I just thought I had to work hard to make the finals, and I just wanted to be able to make a living doing what I love to do, and that was all that I wanted out of this. And so I know that God had His hand in my life, and I think He used me because I wasn't your stereotypical cowboy, and that I know that I didn't do it, and that all good things come from God, and I give Him all the honor and glory. I'm going to wrap it up tonight, but I mean, rodeo is a family sport. Roy Cooper, Tough and Cliff's dad, Shadow's stepdad, he brought me out here. I knew how to rope. He taught me what it was to think you could win when you showed up at the events. He taught me what confidence was by having confidence in me. And when I came, I just thought I was another contestant. And when I came with him, he told me that I was supposed to beat these guys. And so that made a difference in my career. And the first time I came up to Ellensburg, Pendleton, the whole Northwest run, that was probably the biggest adventure I'd ever set off on. I came with Stetson and Sawyer's dad. And so it's just funny that it's kind of full circle, that everybody's right here, you know, the next generation right now. And that's the way rodeo is. It's a lifestyle, it's not a sport. I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm proud to represent it, and I'll do my best till I'm done. But again, Patrick and Christy, I know it's a little pressure just to come and introduce somebody on short notice, but that's the kind of friend he's been. He's thick and thin, and am I older or you older? We're real close. And but he is younger than me. Most of y'all wouldn't know but looking, but he's even as a younger guy, he's been a super example in my life. Great husband, great father, and just truly loves the Lord. And it's so hard to be out here, you know, especially team roping with guys that aren't like-minded, you know. And I think that's what's been instrumental in our career partnership with each other is we've been on the same page, and they talk about my work ethic. If he did 3 events, you'd probably never hear about my work ethic because he gets it done, and he's the driving force behind our team. And I'm just glad to be a part of their family too. That's what rodeo is about. It's relationships. It's not baseball salaries, but it's that and equivalent friends and just all over the world. Not only our close circle of friends, but I don't know anybody that plays baseball that can show up in Ellensburg, Washington, and pick 3 or 4 families that to stay with. And that's what rodeo is about. And just proud to have been involved in it. Thank you guys for honoring me tonight, and especially with such great company, which you can't be with a better guy than Ken McRae, and an example of that. So thank you guys, and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you so much, and congratulations to our inductees. And I'd like to invite Joel Smith, a man who has worked so hard to bring this together, with a big goal, and that is to have a home for the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame. And tonight, as a fundraiser, I think it's going to be a big part of it. I just want to add one more thing to Trevor tonight. There's a lot of people that would like to tear down our sport. Number one, I want to thank Ellensburg for standing up for what you believe in. Sometimes as Cowboys, we need to quit apologizing for what we do and stand up for who we are. Yeah. And we do that here. Commend Trevor for being that guy, and for being in the business and doing what he does for our business, because as long as he's in the business, business is going to be good. So we want to encourage him all we can. That's for sure, because a lot of our business depends on you staying in the business. Joe Smith, you ready to make some money for the Hall of Fame? All right. Tell Joe how much you enjoyed the evening right now.
Thank you, folks. We're going to turn this around a little bit. I really appreciate Trevor's comments about this community. I'm fifth generation in this community, and we appreciate so much the support that this community has given, not only the rodeo, but all the other events and all the other people that live here. We just had a really big fire, and we had a lot of people come together and try and make it a little bit easier on those that lost homes and buildings, and fortunately no loved ones. Anyway, this is called Boots of Fame. And like Trevor said, or Justin said, it's about a fundraiser for a permanent home for the Hall of Fame. And the support that the community has given this has been remarkable. My son, Austin, built 25 of these boots. And we asked 25 local artists to come together for this fundraiser and paint these boots or decorate these boots, which they've done, as you can see. And then we asked 25 sponsors to come in and sponsor these boots at $1,000 a piece, which gave us the groundwork and the traction to make this happen. And if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of introduce, and what I'd like to do is introduce the artists who have played a really big part in this. And if they would stand when I introduce them, and then we'll hold our applause to the end. And we're trying to make up some time here. Nikki Berner, Tammy Lentz, Karen Watlam, Ted Dempsey, Nicole Johnson, Don Bronsma, Teddy Weeks Charlton, Karen Johnson, Justin Gibbons and Andy Jenkins, Lynn Graves, Diane Huckabee, Billy McGuire, Justin Cole Beckman, Jim Nelson, Amanda Hanson, Larry Alphin, Lynn McGowan, Patty Erickson, William Warren, Don O'Connor, Jake Newman, Carol Johnson, Cindy Samuelson, Susan Waddle, Melody Malik, and Ben Rings. These are the people that take our Like I said, there were 25 sponsors too. A lot of them couldn't be here tonight. But they're the ones that put the momentum behind this program. So a lot of thank yous are in the program, so I'm not going to go through all that. But I just want to thank all these people for supporting this program, and hopefully in the not too distant future, we can put a permanent home together for the Hall of Fame. We collected all this stuff and we're sitting in boxes, it needs to be displayed. So, with no, oh yeah, I brought the notes. We had some awards given out to the artists, and it came in 2 categories. One was a jury award, and another one was a People's Choice Award. And I'd like to give these out, and if the winners of these awards would please come up and accept, and then we'll move right along with it. On the juried awards for Boots of Fame, there was a tie for 3rd and 4th place. Carol Johnson and Jim Nelson tied for 3rd place. Lynn Graves, the 2nd place, and Don O'Connor was 1st place. I have some big certificates for you. So, are you guys here? These were generously given to, these gift certificates were very generously given to us by the Old Mill Country Store, who have supported everything that happens in Ellensburg. It's a great store, and if you have never been in there, I know some of you artists haven't been in there, and you're going to get a chance to see a really well-run store and a lot of things to offer. Each one of our artists will be getting a $100 gift certificate from Old Mill, and we're going to give those right after the auction, so please come up and get them after the auction's over. Also, it is another People's Choice Awards were generously given to us by the Central Washington University Foundation, and if Scott Wade could come up, please. You hear Scott? Yep. There he is. And we'll give some awards away for that. This is kind of a surprise. I don't think the artists know much about it, but Scott has stepped up and generously supported this thing with some cash awards. And it pays through 6 places, or 5 places. There was a tie for 5th place, and that recipient is Justin Colt Beckman. And Tammy Lentz. The 4th place recipient is Don Bronsman. These are their boots that have been displayed on the overhead here. So, is Don still here? He was. And 3rd place winner is Don O'Connor again. The 2nd place winner is Carol Johnson. This is a really tight competition too. A lot of counting those votes was quite a job. The 1st place recipient is Lynn Graves. Really like to thank the sponsors of these awards, Old Mill and CWU Foundation. Thank you so much. You guys really helped us along the way. One of the things I'd like to tell you just before we really get going in the auction, on the heel of the boot, Austin put what do you call it? You can put a bolt in it, a nut, right? Anyway, there's a deal in the bottom of the boot. You can bolt these down to a foundation of your choice. They're not real stable without a foundation, but that's one way of keeping them grounded. I know the wind won't blow them over. They weigh about 70 pounds apiece. And there's a brass plaque up here with the name of the artist and of the boot sponsor. And those go along with the boots. And when you pick these boots up after you've purchased them tonight, We have a crew of guys that are gonna bring them down to the loading dock in the south end of the building here to help you load them out. And we appreciate you all being here, and I'd like to right now introduce the auctioneer for tonight, Paul Newman. And we'll get this show on the road.
I'm just glad you ate up a little time between those tough acts to follow. But I do hear there's a couple good auctioneers here. So if I don't ever get luck, we'll get Justin up here. We do have a couple of people we're going to get up to help us spot bids. I know Bill was helping and Carrie was. You guys are a good crowd. You know, it's almost like we're at a teacher's convention.
We'll get this thing started. The first booth, we're going to go around the circle. And the first booth was sponsored by Spirit Therapeutic Writing Center and Dr. William Phillip, DDS. And the artist was Patty Erickson.
All right, on that, then I'll say it now before we get to going. If you're not sure where I'm at, if I actually get on the roll, just raise your hand and we will clarify where we are. All right, on this booth right here, we have tonight, somebody give me $1,000 where? Somebody start me out at $1,000. Somebody give me 500 where? 500, now, 500, 100 where? Thank you, now two. 102, one, now two. I got one, will you go two, Carrie? On now 200, and then two. Will you gonna do now three? 300, and then three. Will you gonna do down here now three? I'm at 200 his way now three. 300, now three. Will you gonna do 300, now where? Will you give me 250? Thank you, now 300. I'm at 250. Your way now 300, now 50, 50, 50, 300, then $50. I have 300 somewhere down here your way asking 350. 350, 50, 50, 300, then $50, and then where we take 350, I'm at 300, then 25. 325, thank you now 50, 50, 300, then $50, and down here now 50, $50. I have 325, thank you now 50, now 75. I'm at 350, now 75, and then 5, 375. I have 375, now 400. 400 now 25. 400 now 25. 400 then 25. I have 400 down here asking for 400 then $25. Now 450. Now 75. Don't be afraid to bid. We've got 24 more booths to go. And I'm going to do nothing but get worse. I'm not like Trevor Brazil. I do not get better with time. 450, thank you now, 475. 450 now, 75, 500, and then 500, and 500, $525, 525, 600, thank you now, 50. I'm at 600 down there now, 50, 650, 50, 650 now, 50, 25. I'm at 600 down there, then 25, thank you now, 50, $650. I have 625 asking for 650, 675. I'm at 650 your way now, 75, and then 675 at 650 bid bill your way down here now 675 yes or no? Sold it for $650 $650 buyer number 448448's the buyer number. Thank you.
Our second booth is sponsored by the Linder family. It's done by Tim Dempsey. It's a wild one.
All right, boy, that's a good-looking booth there. Somebody give me $500 where? 500, $500 and then $500 now. 500, 100. Thank you now two. I'm at 2 now 3. I'm at 100 then 2. I got one more now. $200 and then 2. We think I'm going to do 100, 150, 150 now. $200. I have 150 now. 200, 200 now 50. I'm at 200 now. 50, 50, 200 now 50 now 50, 50, $250. I have 200 now. 250, 225. I'm up 200 now, $25, now $225. I'm at 200 down there now, $225. There's probably $200 worth of cement in that thing. I have 200 down here, I believe, asking for 225. 200 down, $225. Sold it down low for 200. I tell you what, you got the deal of the night, 200, and that's buyer number, again, could you hold that up? Number 585. 585 for 200. Andrew Erickson, thank you.
All right, our next booth was painted by Don Bronsma, award winner tonight, sponsored by Anderson, Hay and Grain.
All right, on Don's work there. Somebody give me $500. Where? 500. I'm one now, 200. I've got 100 now, two. I'm $100 and then two. We're going to do $100 and then three. We're going to do $300 back there now, three. 200 down here now, $300. I'm up 200 down here now, $300 and then three. We're going to do $150. I've got 200 right here now, 250. 250 now, $300. Thank you now, 50 now, $400 and then $400. I'm at 350 down here now, $400 and then $400. $400 and then $400. I'm at 350. Let's go 75. 375. I'm at 75 and then 400. 375 there now. $400, over. I'm at 425. Thank you now. 450. 450 now. 75. 450. And then $500 now. $525. Thank you now. 50. 550, 550, you're up, $550. I have 525 right here now, $550. 550, $550. Now 575, 550, 75, now 600, $600 now. It was easy the last time, let's make it easy this time. 600, $600 and then 600. I'm at 575 now, 600, yes or no, it's $600 now, $600. Sold it for $575, 575 number. 4, 5, is that a 9 or 4? 454? 454 is the winning bidder. Brian and Emily Stickney, thank you.
Our next booth was painted by Larry Alford, was sponsored by the Ken McRae family.
That's Hall of Famer Ken McRae.
That's Hall of Famer Ken McRae.
All right, on that good-looking booth there. Thank you, Larry. Somebody give me 500 where? 500. $500 and then 500. $500 and then 500. One now, two. I'm at one now, two. 100 now, two. I've got one my way. Here I carry $200 and then two. We're going to do $100 now, $200. I'm at 150 now, 200. I'm 50 now, $200 and then two. We're going to do $100. I have 150 now, $200. I'm 150 now, $200 and then two. We're going to do $100 now, $200. I have 150 my way. You're out 200. $200 and then two. We're going to do 100. Thank you now, 50, $250 and then $50. I'm at 200 right here now, $50. 250, $50 to $225. I'm at 200 down here now, 25. 200 down, 25, 225 to the $25 now, $225. I'm at 200, asking for $225. Thank you now, 250. I'm at 225 now, 250, 250, $225 now here now, 50, then 75 and 275. I'm at 250 now, 75 and 275. I've got 250 this way, you're out $275 now, $275. Yes or no? $275. You're out. Sold it to the lady for $250. $250. Your buyer number is. Your number, please. 473 is the winning bidder number. 473.
Thanks, Mary. Our next booth was painted by Karen Watland, and we have another Hall of Famer as a booth sponsor, Trevor Brazil. And I'd like to ask Trevor, would you mind putting your signature on that booth, Trevor?
Thank you, and Kathleen and I was on the last one. Thank you. What signature are you going to put on there? Trevor, he said sign it, but he didn't say whose name. Dr. Ken Mc...
Again, the artist is Karen Wadley.
Thank you, Trevor. All right, on that newly, freshly autographed boot. Somebody give me $500. Five where? 500. 500 dollar now. 500 back there. Thank you now. $600 now. $600. I have 500 opened up now. $600 now. Say we gonna save it at $600. I'm at 500 600 now. $700 now. 700. I'm at 600 down here now. $700 and then $650. I have 600 now. 650. 650. 650. 600 down $50. I have 600 now. 650. 650, 650, 600 down $50 now, 625. I'm at 600 now, $25. 600 down $25. I have 600 bid, asking for 625. 600 your way down here now, 25. 600 down 25, 600 down $25. Sold it your way for $600. $600. Buyer number. 574, that was a close, wasn't it? I like how you did that. You said yep, but you were looking for her to nod. I tell you what, well trained. You are a good director.
Our next booth was designed and painted by some local tattoo people. It's a wild and exotic booth. Melody Malik and Ben Reeves, and it was sponsored by the Ellensburg Rodeo Board. Thank you.
A tattoo booth. All right, on the tattoo artist booth right there, somebody give me 500, 500, $500, and then 500, 500, 200, 100 now do. I'm at $200 and then do. We give them one now, $200 now, $100 now, $300. I'm at 200 down here now, 300, 250, 250, 200 down $50. I have 200 bid now, 250, 150, 250, 200 then $25. $225. I'm at 225. 200 down 25. 225. 225. I have 200 this way. Asking for 225. 200 down 25. 225. Sold it for $200. $200 number. Is that 593? 593. Scott Shelton, thank you.
Our next booth was a first place winner in the juried selection and also in the juried awards, and third place in the People's Awards. It was painted by Don O'Connor. It was designed by Don O'Connor, and sponsors are the Clarence Fitter family.
It's loaded full of beads, isn't it? All right, thank you, Don O'Connor. Somebody give me $500. Where? 500. $500 now. 500 now. 500. 200. One now do. I'm at one now. 200. 200 and then do. $100 now. I'm at 100 already. You need to be two. See, when I say 100 and start going two, Perry, thank you. Now three. You want to be 100 again? You guys can laugh. I'm picking on him. I'm trying to be mean so you guys will be engaged. We might get Trevor back up here. That's right, he is, that's right. We'll go through it on the res. That's definitely something to come to Ellensburg for. I'm at 2, now 3. Now 4. I'm at 3 your way now. 400 now 5. I'm at 400 right here now. $500 and then 400 now 50. 450 back there now. $500 now 500 time at 450. You're out $500. 500 now 50. 500 cheese in now. 550. 50 now 600 and then everything gonna save it $600. I'm at 550 right here now. 600 you're out. 600 now 50. 650. I'm at 600 now 50. 650 you're out. 650 now 700. $700 now $700. I'm at 650. Asking for 7. $700 now $700. I'm at 650 now 75. 650 now 675. 600 you're out. 75. 675 now 75. 675. We're at 650 with the lady, but the other lady will not go 675. It's just going to be you and me the rest of the way, okay? So you're at 675, will you go 700? I'm picking on you. I think she might do it again. 700, you're at 700, will you go 725? I'm not gonna run you any more than that. I love Ellensburg. She's at 700 now, 25, 700, then 25, 11, give me 25, 725, 725. Sold it to the lady for 700, 700. Thank you, lady, for $700. That's buyer number 461. 461 is the buyer, and that is Sydney Moe. Thank you. Thank you, Sydney.
Our next book was designed and painted by local artist Teddy Weeks Charlton. This book was sponsored by Smith Chem Incorporated.
Wow. All right, 500. $500 and then $500 now. Holly, everyone, thank you now. $200 now. Will you give me one now? $200. I'm at 100 way. Now $200 now. Will you give me $200 now? Will you give me now? $300 now. Will you give me the year out? $300. I'm at 200, 300 now. 4 now. 5. 4 back there now. 5. You're out. $500 now. Will you give me $500? I'm at 400 and 450. 450, 450, $450. I'm at 400 back here. You're out. $450. Thank you now. $500. $500 now. 5. I'm at 450 this way out. $500 now. 5. Will you give me $500 now? $550. I'm at 500 now. 50. 550. 550. You're out. Yes or no at $550? No. About 525. Sold it for $500. $500 buyer number. Thank you. Is that 587, Bob? Bob Kelly, thank you. 587. Thank you, Bob.
Our next book was designed and painted by Billy McGuire. The Berkheimer family sponsored the boot, the Flying Boot.
Wow. 500. 500. $500 and then $500 now. 1 now 2. I'm at 1 now. $200 and then 2. Will you give me $200 now? Will you give me $200? I'm at 100 now 2. I'm at 150. 150. 150. I have 100 my way now. 150. 150. 150. Thank you. Back there now. 200. $200 now. 50. 250. I'm at 200 down here now. 50. 250. 250. I have 200. Asking for 250. 150. 250. 250. I'm at 225. 200 down 25. 200 down 25. Now 25. $225. I'm at 200 down 25. Yes or no? $225. It's the last chance for a set of wings. Sold it for $200. $200 buyer number 591. 591 is the buyer. I guess we're on a winged horse, a winged boot.
Our next artist is Lynn McGowan. The sponsor was Meadows Condos Incorporated.
And you can't see it, but on this side it says Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame. All right, on that book there, I'll open it up at 1 now, 200. Let's just go, 200. I'm at 1 now, 2. I'm now 200, $200, and then 2. Will you give me $100, and then 2? Will you give me $300? I'm at 200, back here now, $300, and then 3. Will you give me $300? I'm at 250, 250, 250, now $250. I have 200, asking for 250, 250, 250, now 50, 25. 225, thank you now, 250. I'm at 225, now 50, now 75. 250, up there now 75, $275, $275. I'm at 250 now, $75. 250 now, 75, thank you now, $300 now, $300. I'm at 275, asking for 300, now 25. 300 his way now, 25, now 50, 350, 350. We have 325 bills way, asking for 350. You're out over here, 350. $350. $350. 150, now 25, 50, 50, 350. I have 325. Ask him one more time at $350. You want back in?
I think you can do it.
I'm not sure where they are, but I think we can. 350. We have 325 asking for 350. Now 375, 375, 350, 75 here and at 75 now $400, but now you're out $400. 375 this way now $400, but now we can move a bit of $400. I have 375 this way. Asking one more time at $400. Now 425, 425, 425, 425, now 425, $425. I'm at 400 this way now, $25, $425. Yes sir, no, 425. Are they thinking about it, Bill? Are they down in front of you at 425? Sold it for $400. Your way for $400. That's buyer number 467. 467 is the buyer number, and that is lucky buyer name Barb McCracken. Is that right? Thank you.
Our next book is painted by Lynn Graves. This is a People's Choice Award, first place and second place on the jury. This is a fantastic boot. This boot was sponsored by Mathis Lumber.
And I tell you what, Joel, that's got rodeo written all over it. It's a reservation joke. They call me Mr. Obvious. Somebody give me $1,000 way or 1,000. $1,000 now one. We give them $1,000 now one. We give them $1,000 and then 500. $500 now. Thank you now $600. I'm at 5 now 600. 600 now 700 now 700 now 700 6 now 7 now $800. I'm at 7 now $800 now 88 now 9. I'm at 800 now $900 now 900 we give me $900 now at 800 now 50 850 $850 now 50 $850. I have 800 your way. Asking for 850 now 900 850 now $900 900 $900 now 50 900 now 50 900 but you're now 50 now 50 950 now $1,000. Did we get the 950 in the back? Is that right now? $1,000. I have 950 now, 1,000. $1,000 now, $1,000 now at 950 now, $1,000 and then $1,000 now, $1,000. I have 950. Asking one more time for 1,000. Yes, sir. Bill, 1,050. I've got the $1,000 bills way now, 1,050. 1,050. Make you now $1,100. I'm at 1,050. Asking for $1,100. 1,050 now, $1,100 now, $1,150. We've got the 11 down low. You're at 1,150 now, $1,200. $1,200 now, 50. $1,250, 50. You're at 1,250. I have 1,200 down now, 1,200. You're out 1,250. 1,250 now, 1,300. Bill, I've got my way. You're at 13 now, 50. I'm at 1,350 now, 1,400. I'm at 1,350 in the back, asking for 1,400. $1,400 now, 50. $1,400 down there now, 15. $1,500 now, 1,600. I'm at 15 down there now, 1,600. I have 1,500. He bumped it to 15, so you need to be 1,600 to get back in. $1,600 now, $1,600 now, $1,600. 16. Now 1,700. I'm at 1,600 now, 1,700 now, 1,600 now, 1,700 now, $1,700. Sold it in the back for $1,600. Say that again. 470. 460. Joanne, 460. Nick Dyke, thank you, Nick.
Got some momentum going here. Our next artist is Nicole Berner, and her boot was sponsored by Drew Bledsoe.
Long live Cowboys, it says in the top. All right, on Nicole's piece there. Somebody give me $500 way or 500. $500 now. We give them $500 and then $500. Give me 200, one now, two. I'm at one now, $200 and then $2. We give me $200 now $200, $200 and two. We're gonna do $100 now, $150, $200, $200 and two. I'm at $150 now, $100 and two. We're gonna do $100 now, $50, $250, $150 now, $300, $300 and three. I'm at $250, $300 now, $50, $250, $350. I have $350 now, $400, $400 now, $50, $400 now, $50 now, $500 and $500, $450 now, $500 now, $500. I'm at $450 this way, you're out $500, $500 now, $450 now. 75. I'm at $450 now, $475 now, $500 now, $525. I'm at $500 now, $525. I'm at $500 down here now, $525. Yes or no at $525. Now $550. I'm at $550 now, $75. $550 now, high. I'm at $550 now, $575. $575. It's been your way all along. Bill $550 now, $575. $575. Sold it your way, Bill, for $550. $550. Thank you. Buyer number 448. 448's the buyer, and they are. They were here. Paul, thank you, Paul.
Our next artist is Carol Johnson.
Thibodeau's, thank you.
Our next artist is Carol Johnson, third place in the jury awards and second place in the People's Choice Awards. And that group was sponsored by the Gage family.
Oh, what a great piece there. All right, on the round, selling $500, we're here $500. $500 and five. $500 now, $500 and one now, two. I'm at $200 and two. We're going to do $250 now, $300 and two down here now, three. $200 this way now, $300 now, $400. I've got three this way, you're up four now, five. $400 now, $600 now, $700 now, $800 now, at $70 now, $900 now, $1,000 now, $1,000 now, $1,100 now, at $1,000 now, $1,100 now, $1,100. I have all $1,000 bid. You're out and we're asking $1,100. Thank you though, $1,100. $1,050, $1,050, $1,050 bid, $1,050. I've got $1,000 already. They need to be $1,050. Now $1,100, now $1,150. I'm $1,100 now, $50 bid, $1,100 now, $50 now, you're out, $1,150. I just said you're out. 11, now 50. You want to be back in? I'm at 11 now, $50 bid, $1,150. Sold it right here for $1,100. Sorry about that. It's at $545. Did I see that? $585. $585, Joanne, $585.
Thank you so much, bidders and buyers.
Andy Erickson, yeah.
Our next artist is Jake Newman, and his sponsor was Kittitas Management Incorporated, Mr. Roger Weaver. Thank you, Roger.
Okay. 500 where? 500. $500 and then 500, one now two. I'm at $200 and then two. We're going to do $250 now, $300 and then three. We're going to do $300. I'm at one now, two now, three. I'm at 200 jury and now $300. $300 and then three. We're going to do $300 and then two. We're going to do $250. I'm at 200 jury and now $250. I have 200 bid, asking for $250. $250. $250, then $225. $200 only $225. I have 200 bid, asking for $225 now $50. $225 this way now $50. There you're out. $250. $250, you're out. $250. $250. We have $225 your way, Bill. Asking for $250. $250. Sold it your way, Bill, for $225. $225. $455, and it's David Jones. Thank you.
All right, our next next artist is Jim Nelson, a well-known Western artist, and sponsoring family was the Nesbitt family.
Oh, what a good-looking booth, Pat. He is right there. All right, somebody give me 500, 400, 300, $300, now I'm at 2. I'm at 1 now, $100, and then 2. We take 1 now, $100, and thank you now, $300. I'm at 2 now, 3. I'm at 200, up there now, $300, and then 3. We take $300. I have 200, then 250, 200, then 50, then 50, $250. I have 250, thank you now, 300. I'm at 250 now, $300. 250 back here now, $300, and $300 now, $300. 250 you're in, asking $300, and then $300. I have 250 bid, asking for 300 now, 50. I have 300 now, 50. You're out back there, 50 now, 350. 300 now, 50, 50, 300 now, 50, $350. I have 300 bid. How about 325? 350. I'm at 325 now. 350. $350 now. $350. We have 325 bid. Now 75 now 400. 375 now 400. $400 now 4. I'm at 375 now. $400 now. $400 and then 400 now. Thank you now 25. I'm at 400. She's in now 425 now 50. 450. $450. I have 425. You're out asking 450. 450. 450. Yes or no? Thank you now 575. 450 now 75. 450 now 475. And then 400 now 75. Now 475. Yes or no? 475. Now $500. 475 now 525. I'm at 500 now 25. $525. 600. Thank you. Now 50. I'm at 600 now $50. 750. 650 now $700 now $700 now $700 now $700. I'm at 650 now $700. $700 now $700. Yes or no? Bill $700. Sold it your way for $650. Bill $650. Buyer number.
Our next booth was painted by Cindy Samuelson. Sorry.
You're all right. 583. Joanne, 583. Frank Palmero. Thank you. Go ahead, Joel.
Our next artist is Cindy Samuelson, and her booth was sponsored by Charlton Farms.
All right, 500. $500 now. $500 and then $500 and then $500 now. I'm at $200 and then $200 now. $200 and then $200 now. I'm at 2 now. 200 now. 300 now. $400 and then 4. I'm at 4 now. 5. 400, 500 now. $600 now. 6 now. $700 now. $711 now. $800. I'm at 700 right here now. 8. I'm at 700 now. $800 now. Give me $800 now. Give me 8 now 9. I'm at 800 right here now. $900. I have Bill 800 right here. Asking for 900. 800 now 50. 800 now $50. I'm at 800 down here now $50. And he's in at 800. 800 now 50. 850. 850. 800 now 50. Yes or no at 850. We have 800 this way, asking for 850. 850, you're out. 850. 850 now 9. I'm at 850 now. $900 now. I'm getting $900 now. 50 to the 950 now. $1,000 now. I'm waiting for $1,000. I'm at 950 now. $1,000 now. I'm waiting for $1,000 now. $1,000. I'm at 950 down there now. I'm waiting for $1,000. Yes or no? $1,000. Now 1,050. I'm 1,050. 1,050 to 1,050 now. 50 to 50 to $1,050. We have $1,000 bid, asking for $1,050. He's in at 1,000. Sold it right here for $1,000. For $1,000. Mark Anderson, Anderson Hay, Green said if the two of you will sign it, he will double the $1,000 and he'll pay $2,000 for it. And this time you actually have to sign your real name, okay? So I'll tell you your real name. Actually, we probably should say that anybody did, that was Anderson got that last one, Joanne. Did you have a number, Mark? Did you guys have a number you want to put it on for Joanne? Thank you, that is 452. Thank you, 452. Thank you to the Andersons. And keep in mind that for a $1,000 bump on any one of these boots, I'm pretty sure we could probably talk them into signing all of them. So if you bought one and you want to put another $1,000 on, by golly, we'll lock the doors and they'll stay here and sign them. They keep talking about how nice they are, by golly, we're going to make them show it. Thank you guys, and thank you, Anderson.
You know, it's amazing, a lot of the sponsors, especially a lot of the family sponsors, you'll hear more of them as we go through this list, are inductees in the Ellensburg Hall of Fame, and thank you, Anderson family. Our next boot was painted by Susan Waddle. It was sponsored by Cactus Ropes and Saddlery.
All right, there. Somebody give me 500. 500. Thank you now. $600. I'm at 500 down there now. $600 now. Everything on the table about now. $600. I have 500 now. $600 and then everything about $550 now. $600. I'm at 550. $600 now. $50. We have 600 down here now. 650 now. 700. 750 now. $700 now. $700 now. 50. 700 now. 50 now. 50. Thank you now. $800 now. $800 now. $850, $850. I'm at $850 now, $900 now. I'm at $900. I have $850, $900 now, $50. $900 now, $50, $950, $950. I'm at $900 down here now, $50, $950, $900 down here now, $50, $950 now, $50, $950. We have 900 bid, asking for $950. Yes or no? $950. Now $1,000. 950 is way now. $1,000 now. $1,050 $1,050 $1,000 now. $50 now. $50 $1,000 now. $50 $1,050. I'm at $1,000 down there now. $50 $1,000 now. $50 yes or no at $1,050. We have 1,000 asking one more time. $1,050 this way. Carry $1,050. Sold it right here for $1,000. $1,000. 454, Joanne. 454 for 1,000. Brian and Emily Stickney. Thank you. Stickney. So just to prepare you for what's going on, that Andy Erickson on the second boot that we sold, Andy and Lori, that's right. They bought this one early on in the auction. We got our two superstars, thank you guys, to sign it. He's gonna pay for the original boot, but he's gonna put it back in the auction and we're gonna sell it again at the end. So does that make sense? You're turning it, I guess is what we're doing. Thank you guys. And thank you for coming up and signing. I tell you what, piece of history here making these hits.
The next artist is Justin Colt Beckman, and he designed this boot. It was sponsored by John Lutka's The Tradition Lives. Thank you, Brad, Steve, Cindy, and Connie, and Jan.
All right, Justin and Colt Beckman's piece right there. Somebody give me $500. $500 now. $500 now. $1 now, $200 now, $3. I'm at $2 now, $300 and then $3 now, $4 now, $5. I'm at $4 now, $5 now, $600 now, $700 now, $700 now, $800 now, $900 down here now, $900. I'm at $800 down here now, $900. Thank you now, $1,000 now, $1,000 now, $1,100 now, $1,100. I'm at $1,000 down here now, $1,100 now, $1,100. Now $1,200, $1,200 now, $1,300. I'm at $1,200 now, $1,300 now, $1,300 now, $1,500. I'm at $1,200 down here now, $1,300 now, $1,300. I have $13 now, $1,400. $14 now, $1,500 now, $1,500. $1,500 down there, you're out $1,500, but now $1,500, but now $1,500. I'm at $1,400, asking for $1,500, but now $1,500, yes or no at $1,500. Now $1,600, now $1,700. I want $16, now $1,700, but now $1,700, yes or no at $1,700. Sold it for $1,600. $1,600 number 452. Thank you, Anderson. Hey, 452 for $1,600. Thank you, Anderson. Hey.
Our next artist is Karen Johnson, and another one of our Hall of Fame families sponsored this booth, the Buckmeyer family.
Oh, great piece there, Karen. Thank you. Somebody give me $500. $500 now. Now $600 now. $700 now. $700. I'm on $600. His way you're out. $700 now. $700. I have $600. Asking for $700 and then 6, 7 now. You're in at $600 now. 7. How about $650? I'm on $600 right here now. $700 now. $700. I'm on $600. His way now. $700. 700, then 656, and I lost my place. 650, 650, 650, $650, 650, yes or no? $650. Sold it right here for $600. $600. 574, did you say? 574. It's the Clifton family again. Thank you guys. Down to 6 boots.
Our next boot was designed and painted by a couple of guys, Justin Gibbons and Andy Jenkins. And this is another Hall of Fame family, the Jerry Anderson family, sponsoring the booth.
All right there, a little touch of $500 now. $500 and then $500 now. $100 and then $200 now. $100. I'm up one now. $200 and then $200 now. $3. I'm up 200 now. 300. Thank you now. $400 now. $400 now. 500. 500. You're out with $500. Diamond 4 now. $500 and then 5. I'm at 450. 450. $450. I'm at 400. How about 450? Thank you now. 500. 450 back here now. $500 now. $500 now. 450 now. $500. I have 450. Asking for 500. Thank you now. 50. I'm at 550. 550. 450. 500 down here now. 50 to 500. Then $50. I have 500 back. Asking for 550. 550. 450 to 550. Yes or no at $550. Sold it right there for $500 to the lady for $500. Thank you, Georgia. Remember up just a little bit longer for us, please, for $500. Miss, could you hold your number back up for us? 466 Jan Lucas, you say? Did I get that? Thank you. Thank you, Jan. You've been bidding a lot tonight, and we appreciate that.
Our next boot was designed and painted by William Warren. It was sponsored by the Ellensburg Windermere Agents.
On Warren's piece there, somebody give me $500. $500 now, $500 and then $1 now, $200 now, $200. Thank you now, $300. I'm up to now 30. I'm up to 200, 300 now, $400 now, $500 now, $500. I have 4 back here now, 500 now, $500 now, $450. Where are we? We're right straight back here, aren't we? For 400, asking for 450. 450, 450, 400, then 50, now 50, 450. I'm at 400 down there now, 50, 450. Yes or no? 400, then $50. Sold it for $400. $400 right in here. 451. 451 is our winning bidder. Thank you. Is that right?
Our next artist is Tammy Lentz, and this boot was sponsored by the Drew Bledsoe family. A very patriotic boot.
Absolutely patriotic. All right, somebody give me $500. $500 and then what's that? Yeah, I heard you say go Cougs. Did you hear him say go Cougs? Drew Bledsoe? Okay, we got that out of our system. Just for that table, so you know, one bar is still open. Go ahead and help yourself. I'm a one now, $200 and $100 now, $300 now, $4. I'm up 3 miles down there now, $400 and then $4. He's in at 3, right there now, $4. $300 down there now, $4 now, $5. I'm at 4 now, now, $600 now, $700 now, $800. I'm at $7 there now, $800, you're about $800 now, $800. I have a lady in the back. Actually, I have a man in the front at 8 down 9. I'm at 8 down 9. 8 down 900 and I'm at 8 down there now 9. 850, 850, you're out. $850 now, $850. I'm at 800 right there now, 50, 850, you're out. $850. Sold it right here for $800. $800 number 472. 472 for $800 in the front, and you are. He's actually a better board of director than he is an auction holder. Oh, it's Steve Gordon. Aren't you a racer? That's okay.
The next booth was designed and painted by Nicole Johnson. And my son, Austin Smith's family has sponsored the booth.
We had a lot of artists with the last name Johnson in our collection, sure. Couple Karens, that's right, and a lot of great artwork. All right, on the $500 start clear. Somebody give me $500. $500 now, $500, $200 down, $1 now, I'm up $1 now, $100, and then $200 now, $100. I have 100, asking for 200, $200 and then $200 up there now, $300 down up to this way now, $300. I'm up $2 up there now, $300 now, $4. I'm up $300 now, $400 now, $400. I'm a $350, $300 down, $350. I have 300 right here now, $350. You're up to $350. I'm at 300, and you're out in the back at 350. Hey, 150, $350 down, $350. Now $350. Sold it your way, carry for $300. $300 buyer number 474. 474 is the buyer. I believe it's Manson's. Thank you.
Our next booth was painted by Amanda Hansen. It was sponsored by Yakima Federal Savings and Loan. Second to the last booth.
Plus the add-on. All right, somebody give me $500. $500 now, $500 now. $500, $1 now, $200 now, $3. I'm at $200 now, $300. Yes. Now at 4. I'm at 3 now, 4 now, 5. I'm at 4 now, 500 now, I'm at 4 back there now, $500 down at 4, then 50, 450, now $500. Was that, were you done or were you good with that? You were done. I'm at $400 now, $50. $400 back here now, 50 now, 50 with the 50 with the $400 then $50. I have $400 now, 50, 450 with the 50 with the $400 then $25. I'm at $400 now, $25. Sold it for $400. $400. Way in the back, that's buyer number 586. 586, I believe. Dan Powell. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Our last booth was designed and painted by Diane Huckabee. Puget Sound Energy was the sponsor.
Our next.
Oh yes, our next to last.
All right, on the good-looking purple boot there. Thank you, Diane. All right, somebody give me $500. $500 now, thank you now, $600 now, 5, 6 now, 700 down, 600 down here now, 700. Then 600 now, 700. 650, $650 now, 50 to the 50. Thank you now, $700 now, $700. I'm at 650 now, $700 now, $700. I have 650 here out, $700 now, $700. I'm at 650 here in now, $700 now, $700. Does that mean you're done? $700 now, 7 thank you now, 50, 750, you're out now, 750 now, 800, $800 now, $800 now, I'm on 750 now, $800 now, 750, how about 775? I'm on 750 now, $75 now, 775 now, $800, $800, you're out, $800, I'm on 775 now, here now, $800, 800. I have 775 asking for 800. $800 now. $800 now. $800 now. $800 yes or no at $800. Sold it for 775. 775 and we're putting the number 476. 476. Okay, and I didn't see you when you stood up, but you're Mrs. Trevor Brazil, is that right? Wow, stand up, because not all of us got to see how pretty you were. I mean, I have been all evening. People, that's why you strive to be a world champion, and that's that right there. Wow.
As I mentioned earlier, Andy Erickson and Lori Erickson have been going to re-roll boot number 2. It's been signed by Trevor and Patrick, and we're going to put it open for bid.
That's right. And you said we need to bring 1,000. Do you want to start it out at 1,000? Okay. 500. 500. Oh, that's your wife saying no. Yeah, I was going to say. All right, somebody started me out at $500. $500 now. $500. Keep in mind, we've already made. What did we make off of this the first time? I mean, we made a nice little chunk, so we're making it again. We're just giving it back. I'll start it out at 1. Somebody give me 200. I'm at 1 now 2. I'm now 2. $100 now 2, and it is autographed by world champions. 2 now 3. I'm at 2 now 3. 200 now $300. $300 now $300 now at 2 now 3. I'm at 250. 250. Would it help if I said we could get Paul Newman's signature on it? The Paul Newman, yeah. The only living Paul Newman in the building today, folks. I have 200, asking for 250. I'm at 200 now, 50, 250, 200 now, 50, 250. Folks, this is the last one tonight. Now 300. I can't wait till we see all you folks at the rodeo. Wow. 250 now, 300. I'm at 250 now, $300 now, $300 now, $350 now, $50. You weren't bidding. That's we're playing with cards. Sorry. 250 now, $300 now, $300 now, $300. I'm at 250 down here now, $300 now, 50, you're up, $350. I'm at 300 now, 50, 350, you're out, 350. Now 400. I'm at 250 now, $400. $100 now, 50, you're out, 450. I'm at 400 now, $450. Don't let him out, do you? 550 now, $600 now, $550 now, $600 now, $600 now, $600. I'm at 550 now, $600, yes or no, it's $600. Are you sure? Sold it for $550. And you're now refresh me on the number. 492. 592. 592. I should have never questioned it. Scott Driver's been bidding all night, and you finally got one bought. Yeah.
Hey, well, listen, this has been a very special night for the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame. We're going to keep you people informed as our progress develops into this permanent home. And this is definitely the groundwork. And we appreciate all you bidders, all you buyers, all you sponsors, and all you artists. It's been quite a wild ride, a great experience for all of us, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate all of your interest in what we're trying to do. And like I said, we'll keep you informed as our progress furthers itself. I would like to do one thing. I'd like to go through very quickly the event sponsors that have been very important to us. The Old Mill Country Store for sponsoring the gift certificates for the artists. Just the Boot Company helped with that also. The CW Foundation for their contribution to the artists in the form of cash. Fitter's Furniture for hosting so many of our events. Also the Clyburn Museum, the Ellensburg Daily Record for not only getting behind this thing with a whole lot of support, but also developing our program that we have tonight. And I would like to mention a few people that really made this happen. My good friend Scott Rapp, my good friend Brad Fitter, my good friend Roger Weaver, my son Austin, and my wife Marie. That's the committee. That along with a great deal of effort from the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame board of directors. They've been there every time we needed something done. And I just wanted to report that tonight you raised $17,325. So thank you very much. The bar is still open. There'll be autograph session too. So thank you very much. Have a great evening and a great rodeo and fair.